We've now come down even further into the southern sector of the battlefield here at the Somme, and we're in the area that's known as the Horseshoe Woods, Mametz Wood, Delville Wood, Wood, Trones Wood, that area. And behind me is the cemetery here of the Iron Copse. That's Mametz Wood over there, and a little bit further down the road that I've just come from is the Dragon Memorial to the 38th Division, the Welsh Division. But what I'm going to do now is try to come up and get inside of Mametz Wood and have a little nose around in there. It's not actually a footpath per se, so I'm just going up the grass bank either side of some ploughed field, and hopefully there's an area there that we can get inside. But what I can tell you from this far back is just how dark that feels in there already. So we'll go up and hopefully get inside and have a look. Luckily it looks like there's an entrance way into the wood there from here. And this wood, Mametz Wood, was described by the late historian Richard Holmes as one of the ghastliest places on the Somme. And well, you've only got to come a few feet into here and you can see what it's like. Very eerie, very dense woodland, very dark, very still, very quiet. I'm just going to get myself in a little bit deeper, and we will so I'll stop talking and you can just hear the silence. Okay, so that's about as far as I'm going to get. So as you can see, I've only made it a short way in, but this is a thick forest, and if I go too far in, I probably won't be able to find my way back out. But like I said, I'm just going to sit here for a few moments just to let you hear the silence. And that silence, there's a few birds you can hear, but it's very quiet, very still. No wind rustling in the trees hardly. Very eerie. And I'm planning on coming back here at twilight just to see, but you can definitely feel a presence in here, that's for certain. Delville Wood, so this is one of the other major woods on the site, and this was held by South Africans. So I've now come down to Delville Wood, which is one of the other three, the second of the three big woods, and also has Mametz and Wood. Wood is a little ways over from the main road, so it's a bit awkward to get to, so I haven't gone into that wood. But this one was held by South Africans, and when they entered the wood here with orders to take and to hold it, they had over 3,000 men. When they left, 6 days later, the commanding officer, General Thackeray, came out. He himself was wounded. He had 2 other wounded officers and 120 men. The rest of them had fallen in this woodland. The tree in front of us, the large tree, is the survivor tree. It's the only surviving tree of Delville Wood from the battle. Now, the path that's cut in front of me here is Princess Street. This is one of the trench lines going through. There is some preserved communication trenches over there, which is what I'll take you down in a moment. But before we'll head down this lane, heading more towards the South African front line here in Delville Wood. And similar to Mametz, you can feel the oppressiveness in here. It's one of those things where you can sometimes go to a place and you can just feel that something's happened, and you certainly get that inside this woodland here, pretty much more so than you did back at, or similar to that little bit of woodland that I went into at Mametz. But as you can see, the woodland here is far looser. It doesn't feel as tight, doesn't feel as oppressive, but it's still quite that thing where you automatically lose a couple of degrees of heat automatically comes up. So we've come deeper into the woods now, and I'm moving just down along here because it does look like it's slightly more entrenched than the main thoroughfare. So it looks like there's actually something a lot more interesting to see down here. In fact, you can see it sort of. There's a part that looks like a communications trench crossing here. Yes, there's definitely communication trenches there. So what we'll do is we'll take a right turn here and just follow it down. So the German strategy on the Somme was that no ground was to be left to the enemy. Every inch must be fought over, and that's what made the Somme such a bloodbath. Later in the war, once Falkenhayn had been replaced by Hindenburg, they actually changed that strategy due to the fact that they were actually running out of men. And so they designed a strategy called elasticated defence, so that allowed them to drop back into deeper lying positions from which then they could counter-attack rather than staying put and not yielding. So that communications trench that we took has led us back to the main path, and hopefully that will lead us down to the front line trench. So I'll turn it off as we're going back down the straight line, and when I get down there and find something more interesting, I'll turn it back on again. We've walked down to the end, and now we're coming back up the path, and this area to the right here, this was the no man's land in the woods. I presume that the woods itself would have stretched a bit further back than that at the time, but here you can see a large number of shell hole craters. So there's a big one there, there's one a little bit further back over there, let me get things out of the way. There's a smaller one there, there's one a bit further. So it's a clear sign that this section here that we're standing in is the no man's land. So there's nothing marked up where the German front line was, unless it is the path that runs along the back. So in that case, you're going to go back up here. There's more shell holes here as well, because back up here is the last trench that we saw. So presuming this is the front line trench, we're going to have a wander down until we find another route, communication trench heading back up the ways here. So Delville Wood's one of only two places that you can actually find trenches still on the Somme. Like I say, most of them were covered over It's an agricultural landscape. So farmers very quickly came back to the land, started to farm it again, and so trenches, shell holes quickly got taken over. But instead, both here and at Newfoundland Park, they were given to the respective countries as memorials because of the high casualty rates suffered here, and that's why these trenches systems have been preserved in these woods. I see the new tree growth has altered the shape of some of them, but this section here, certainly you can see the zigzag formation of the trench, creating fire bays and preventing any shell bursts from moving down. So I'm going to be quiet now because, like I say, it is a memorial site. Okay, so we're back here at Mametz Wood. The sun's just gone down behind me, so we're just going to go in now and just feel what it's like in there, sort of at twilight in the evening. When we was in there earlier, it was quite eerie and quite spooky in there then, so this time I'm expecting it to be significantly worse. I do apologise, I've got to change of camera. Batteries on my GoPro ran out, so I'm using my phone for this one. So enough of looking at me. Let's switch you around and we'll see what we see in there. Okay, so we've now switched around and we're heading up towards the woods. There's a lot of noise already coming from them, and I said it was quiet in there earlier. There's a lot of bird noise coming up. There's the wildlife. And you can feel the presence before you even get in there now. It's very impressive. the chest. I'm cold, so yeah, I'm not hanging about. I'm getting out.